do. Slightly different technology, but same general idea. It's like the pendulum went from here to here. Now it's come back. So we get asked to do a talk on cloud computing to help people understand what it means for IT people. Not so much the technology, but sort of the strategy, what the impact is. If you're in IT, should you allow your users to use applications that are in the cloud for company work, or what should you do? And if you're a user, what does it mean? So we do this talk, we developed this talk, a keynote speech for cloud computing. And it is so well received that we decide that it makes sense to turn that into a class. So we turn this into a class called Cloud Computing for IT Managers. It's not teaching people how to use cloud computing, but really to discuss the strategy associated with it. And what happens again? Same basic pattern. Custom classes for organizations that are way in the cloud and they need to hear it at a higher level, or organizations who have unique situations that they need to resolve. Webinars, which can be informational. In some cases, we use small bits of our intellectual property and give free webinars that we think of as promotional, because it gets us known with a category of potential future buyer. And in some cases helps us to build relationships that have multiple values, both to those people who come to our webinars and to us. So I would say think about a webinar type of an event or that sort of channel as being for a revenue stream, but also as a promotional element. And the same thing with e-learning. There's a lot of ways that e-learning can be used, and there's technology out there that you can avail yourself of. And of course, there's always video and books. I expect, and we'll see what's going to happen here, is that we've now got video, as we're doing here tonight. You'll strip off the audio and make podcasts out of that. And of course, our old friends, BrainShark, release these new courses in the BrainShark format as content for their users. So we're using the same basic channel. What comes out of the original speech, which was about cloud computing and how it affects trainers as a set of users, of potential users of cloud, because we're very involved in training organizations around New England. What comes out of this is a keynote speech on cloud computing for CIOs. Different twist. Same basic intellectual property, same basic knowledge, but sliced a different way for an audience which has a different set of problems. And here we have the column in IT world, which comes out of some of this stuff called Your IT Career. So I think that the next thing will be an actual book about your IT career. So we've taken a lot of information, a lot of material that came out of the original book. We turned it into a book for information professionals, and we have some additional content that's been developed as a side element of that, and what will come out of that is another book, and I think Eric will talk about that. He's working on that now. We have a client who asked us, given what we have been doing, if we could take another step. Could we build a class for them on IT innovation, which is a big challenge in that market? And we have. We built that class. We deliver that to a very large organization. We deliver it actually in an interesting way, which we'll talk about in a minute. So we have this, again, we have video that creates our podcasts. We have our learning platform. We have our channel partner, BrainShark webinars, and we have custom classes that come out of this. The Gatehouse Media connection and the IT world and the IT world articles that are there all the time. So now that original book, Management Mechanics, dealing with difficult employees. We've got 18 other classes that have now been developed out of that original book. And our next step was to say, we're dealing with all these information technology people. What can we do to repackage this information in a way that lifts our visibility and helps this constituency to take the next step? So what we have done is we've taken the original class, the 18 additional classes that were developed, certain specific materials such as case studies and role plays. We've taken that and put that together with all that we have, and we have created 2 management certifications. One is IT-MLP, which is IT Management and Leadership Professional, and the second is IT-MLE, Information Technology and IT Management and Leadership Executive. So we've taken a book, basically, that became a second book with a twist toward IT, and have developed it into a huge list of classes, which we've carefully kept what we call chunked. Each class stands alone, so it can be customized in a way, so if a customer comes to us and says, you have 18, 20 classes, right? We now have 20 in these 2 certifications. But I only really need these 3, but I need this other one. Those 3, we can yank them out, glue something else onto them. So that the idea of being modular has real value. Just think about that consciously. Has real value when you're thinking about ways to reuse intellectual property. And we now deliver this, not just in the original instructor-led, sort of classroom scenario, and our e-learning-based online self-paced scenario. We also have a Second Life platform. Have you guys come across Second Life? It's a virtual world. Second Life is a crazy thing for business people. The first time Eric said to me, I think we should take our IP and we should train in Second Life. And he said, here's the log-on idea. I want you to go look and tell me what you think. And I looked at it. And the first thing I saw are these avatars. It's like a movie Avatar. And they look bizarre. And the first thing that happened was some critter came walking by me who had wings and a tail and said hi to me. And I thought, let me out of here. Freaked me out completely. So I went downstairs. My office was at home. I went downstairs and I said to my husband, he's finally lost completely. I don't know what I've done, but I don't feel good about this at all. And he said, why? Because he wants us to train in Second Life. And Fran looks at me, big tall guy, 6'3", football player, played halfback in college, right? Big guy, looks at me, deadpan, works for IBM, deadpan, and says, oh, we use Second Life. Thinking IBM uses this? He says, yeah, well, we don't allow people to have wings or be bubbles. Some people's avatar is a bubble. Literally, it floats through the air. So we now, and it took me a while, truly, to get my head around the value this could have. And we don't have time to go into all the stories about how long it took Knucklehead to get it through her head. But it's a great new way, again, to reuse that intellectual property. And because it's a different environment, and it's probably closer to this live classroom than anything else we currently have, it changes the way things are delivered. It changes the way people think about it. And it's caused us to be asked to create some additional bits to add to the classes that we have. Because think about it. If you've got someone in India who's in an avatar-based training environment, you really start to get to know that person a little bit, strange as it sounds, because standing next to your avatar is their avatar. And it really, there's some things that happen naturally when you're in that environment. And it causes people to think, gee whiz, maybe we could really do a team building exercise